Welcome to this month's app webinar. It's on an app called Week Calendar, and you'll see I have the name there. I also decided to start putting the icon, the picture of the icon that's associated with the app, so that it's easier to find in the App Store. Sometimes there's hundreds of apps that have very similar names. So this app webinar is going to be on something called Week Calendar. We have a few learning objectives for today. The first is to differentiate among the customized calendar views. Next one is to create a new appointment. The third one is to edit an existing appointment. And then the fourth objective is really to identify at least two differences between the week calendar and the native calendar app that comes in iOS 5 at this point in time. Very quickly, this is me. I have experience in cognitive remediation at Coastline Community College in Southern California, and I use an approach that I call the Making Cognitive Connections approach. My approach is probably not different from what a lot of other people do. Basically, I want to emphasize the benefits of the smartphones as a cognitive prosthetic, and then I try to teach the technical skills that relate to using a smart device while also talking about the cognitive skills that sort of underlie the development of those technical skills. And then finally, and most importantly, I think across the board, is to really focus on the cognitive skills and to show how those same cognitive skills that you're using on a smart device apply to your everyday life. So hopefully we make that connection as we go through this particular process. The first topic is the calendar views and customization. Let's take a real quick look at what some of the options are, and then we'll actually go straight to the live demonstration. So Week Calendar has several different views. It has a list and search view, a day view, an agenda view, week, mini month, month, year. It has a go to a date option and a today option. And also one of the things that we can do with it is we can actually customize these settings. The customization of the settings is actually one of the things that I want to show you today because oftentimes people, as we know, get overwhelmed with too much information or too many options. And so one nice feature of Week Calendar is it allows us to sort of customize which views we use most frequently and to sort of eliminate the other ones temporarily from our options. The Making Cognitive Connections areas associated with this, certainly attention to detail, looking at visual similarities and differences, and I'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment, planning, categorization, and decision making. So let's jump to Week Calendar. It'll take just a second here for it to catch up with me. So this is Week Calendar, and over here in the lower left side you'll see something that kind of looks like an eye. If you tap on that eye, it allows us to see all the various views that we can change this particular screen to reflect. So for instance, right now, as you can see, I'm on month view. If I tap on list and search view, you'll see it shows me the day, the time of the appointment, the date, and then if I wanted to open up any of these appointments or see more details, I would just tap here on this little arrow. I'm going to go down to my little eyeball again, and I'm going to tap on the day view, and it will pop up here hopefully in just a second. And now you can see there's a totally different view. In this particular view, I see how many events I have in this particular day. I see how many minutes. I see the date, and I also see sort of a quick month at a glance calendar. Plus, I see the time of the appointment here, and also if I want to, I can tap again this little arrow, and that will bring up the appointment for me. You may also notice I have a colored dot here. Well, the colored dots are reflective at this point in time of the calendars that I actually have set up on my computer, but we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Another view is the agenda view. You'll see again, this looks very different. So part of the cognitive connection with this is actually sort of looking at the various views and really getting an idea of which view is going to be the best view for you given the issues that you may have after your brain injury, or the types of information that you like to see, how much information you can see without being overwhelmed, etc. So as we go through here, basically what we're going to be doing is, in this particular view, we can see the week, we can see just a quick reference to the information for the particular day appointments. We can also see here just the start time, so that's something a little bit different. In some of the other views we saw both the start and the end time for those appointments. That was agenda view. If I go to week view, which is one of my favorite views, I can see this little red line here, and this little pin tells me that that's what time it is right now. In addition, the colors indicate again what calendar I have chosen. So you'll see it here. I have some for the ABI program, which is where I teach. I have some things for my business, etc. And one of the really nice things about this particular view is it sort of gives you your block schedule, if you will. I always encourage individuals that that use any kind of calendar program to really keep this particular view, because it can help you see how you're planning your days, how much time you're planning, if you're sort of over scheduling yourself, and as a consequence may have fatigue, etc. The mini month view, you can see this, it shows an entire month. Basically I have the colors, I have no times for any of the appointments. So this may or may not be something that would be of interest to you in terms of a standard view that you would use. I also have a month view, and the month view I use quite often also. In this particular case, as you can see, I've got lots of different colors here. The colors tell me what appointments I have in which category, or which calendar, if you will. It also tells me how many appointments I have in a particular day. So July 12th was an especially busy day, apparently, and the 17th. Today's not too bad. I only have this webinar, at least in my calendar. And so this view is actually a very nice view. Again, if I want to, I can tap on this arrow and it will open up my appointment for me. I can also look at a year view, which gives me all 12 months. One of the nice things about the year view is I can tap on any date within the year and I can see what appointments I have scheduled for that particular date. You can also go to a particular date, or you can quickly go to today's date. So I'm going to go ahead and go back here, and let's just go to the week calendar. Now what I'd like to show you quickly is how to create some settings. So for instance, if we tap on the little cog down here, you'll see we can actually share and print our calendars. We can set up some settings, or we can address various calendars. What I wanted to do was show you just one feature here in the settings, and that is the views. You'll notice here again, I have all the different views that I went through, and I have check boxes by them, or check marks. If I decide that the list and search view is really not a view that is one that I'm going to use, or the day view, etc., I would just simply turn off that particular view. I'm going to go ahead and tap on Done up in the upper right hand corner, and now when I tap on the little eyeball at the bottom, you'll see Day View is no longer one of my options. I can always go back in and turn it back on if I want, but the really nice thing about this is I now have control over how many options are going to appear in my list here. And again, in many cases, too many options can be overwhelming for an individual. So I'm going to go back to Settings again, and I just want to show you one more time how that works. So I go to Settings, I scroll down to where it says Views, I tap on Views. I now see a list of all the different views that I have. I see what's turned on by looking at the check mark, and I see what's turned off or not visible, let's put it that way. And I can just tap that view that's not currently visible, and that will turn it back on and make it visible. I'm going to say Done within my list of views that pops up. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you about the week calendar. I'm going to come back over here. Let's just go to Day View so that you can sort of see this. And I'm now going to go back to my PowerPoint presentation. So we just finished the different calendar views and the customization option. There's many other things that you can customize with this particular app, but again, in the time period that we have, I just wanted to show you that one. I think that's one of the most important ones, at least right off the bat, to sort of get acquainted with.